Hello, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, I give you my 6-month, 900-mile honest review of the Honda Monkey bike. Cue the intro. So, I want to talk about the Honda Monkey cycle. Now, I've owned this bike for just over 6 months and I've put it through its paces. And you can watch all these videos on the channel. It's gone through 2 river crossings. It's gone on a 400-mile road trip. It's ridden up a mountain. It's even jumped over a human being. It's been green laning. It has been put through its paces and there's still more to come. But right now, I've had a lot of questions and I want to answer them. So, shall we go for a ride and talk about this little awesome machine? The good and the bad. Let's go. Okay, I'm not going to go into huge spec of the motorcycle, just a few of the basics. So what you've got a 9 horsepower engine. Now this is no Ducati, this is no race bike, but this 9 horsepower in this engine will keep you around the 60 mile an hour mark on a good day, and it will hold you there. It's a good bike, it will go all day long. It's a solidly built engine in my personal opinion. And then you've got the lifesaver, you've got the ABS on the front, and that really will help you out on those wet cold days when you put your brake on because you've got to stop in emergency. It will help you out. No rear ABS, but front ABS. It's really cool. It's got an LED front running light, and it's also got LED indicators on this model of bike. It's got a nice LED clock that's really cool. You switch on, it gives you a little bit of a wink. You've got yourself a fuel gauge, everything that you need, miles per hour fuel gauge, how many kilometres the bike's done. Okay, it's got a small fuel tank, but being so small and economical, they say you can get 160 miles out of this. I don't ride slow myself, I give it lots of beans. I average probably about 120, 130 miles. Still really good, cost me less than £5 at the moment to fill up that bike. That's just awesome. So LED rear light, nice and bright as you can see. Okay, the standard exhaust sound straight out the back. Here we go. So in my opinion, it sounds alright. You can get aftermarket exhaust, you can make it sound like it's a dirt bike flying along. But for me personally, I like my bike stock, and this is currently staying stock. So since I have had this bike, since I did my first review that was at 400 miles, and all the other stuff I did from the first ride stuff, I've had so many questions, and people have bought bikes because of the stuff they've seen me do. And it's fantastic. I'm really glad. The Honda Monkey cycle, just to be 100% clear, is an awesome little bike. Now, there's been a few things I've discovered with this bike, and I want to go really through the 3 things that let the bike down. Not enough to say don't buy one, but they're the 3 things that let the bike down. So during 900 miles, I've had to adjust the chain 3 times. The chain they put on this from stock is absolutely shocking. It stretches, it's rubbish. Now, it's an easy fix, and you can get a nice chain, a really good chain, for 50 quid. It's dead easy to change yourself. And at the end of the day, that will completely eliminate that. But from stock, you get a rubbish standard chain. So what I want to do is talk about the rubbish thing number 2. Now, the rubbish thing is the gear lever, your foot gear lever. Now, it's just rubbish. It's a little bit wobbly, it's not the best, and it can, after a few miles, be a little bit of a pain to select neutral. It's not the end of the world, and I do it with ease, but it can be a little bit of a pain. That's a little bit disappointing. Okay, and number 3, the final annoying thing, and again, it's an easy fix, but the rear suspension. It easily bottoms out. It's not got that much kind of, I mean, I'm quite a rounded young man, and I find that it does bottom out on like if you hit a pothole or you go over a speed bump too quickly, and it's not the best. And again, it's an easy fix, a couple of £100 and you can have the most awesome rear suspension going. But it's just one of those things to bear in mind. It's perfectly fine, it's adequate, it does its job, but it can just be a bit annoying. Okay, let's discuss the good stuff, the really cool stuff. Now, I get asked a lot of questions, and I'm going to start off with sort of the question that I get asked the most, because a lot of people are aiming to buy this as their main mode of transport. The thing that they basically want to ride to work and back on, go everywhere on and do everything on. And it's a hard one to answer because everybody's life is personal to them. Now, for me personally, I have around an hour commute to get to work and an hour commute to get back. It would not be my choice. I could do it on this bike and it will go along at the speed limit and it'll be just fine. But I wouldn't want to ride this an hour every day to work and back. But if I was riding 10-15 minutes down the road to the nearest town or place like that, do you know what? Absolutely, I'd enjoy it. I'd actually really excited about doing it. So it can do depending on what you're on. The answer to that is how do you personally feel? This bike will sit there between 55 and 60, no problems all day long. It doesn't miss a beat. It is just, it will ride. But for me, I wouldn't buy it as a commuter bike if I was going big distances every single day. But that's my personal thing. But having said that, if I was going to ride a motorcycle around the world that gave me the most amount of fun, that would be a challenge, but I think would make it, it'd be this Honda Monkey bike. Because I think it would be a great bike to ride around, and it would make it, and it would handle everything thrown in its path. An example of being able to handle things. I've taken this bike green laning on some quite rough green lanes. And yeah, do you know what? It did it. It did it without any problems. And because it's so light, it's so chuckable, it's so easy, you're not worried about dropping it. You're not worried about having to stop somewhere a bit dodgy to get off of it. You're not worried about getting stuck because you can lift it and carry it out. So it's a really durable bike. So you could do lots of things on it, but it's your personal preference, as always. Next up, how have I found it to live with? Well, this motorcycle, for me, during the 6 months, it is like a ride for smiles. I generally really get excited about going out for a ride on this bike, because I'm not worried about it. I'm just generally excited. Because you're not racing around at like 70, 80 miles an hour plus, you kind of take a good look around. You look around the countryside and you kind of think, oh, where's that track go? I'm going to go and explore it, because this bike can go anywhere. So to live with, it's really cool. It's just dead easy. It's got an alarm. You press the button, you know it's safe. You can press the button to turn the alarm off. And it's just spot on. It's always spot on. It's just an easy to live with bike. Turn the key, start the button and go. Hassle-free, absolutely hassle-free bike to live with. No problem. The thing is, the Honda Monkey cycle pretty much is what it says on the tin. It's an enjoyable, fun, make you smile motorcycle. Now, it's not trying to be a big adventure bike. It's not trying to be a sports bike. It's not trying to be anything that it's basically not. It's just a great little fun machine. Another question I've been asked quite a lot is if it was left outside. So if, for instance, you worked in an office, a warehouse or something, and you parked in the car park and it was parked outside and it was chucking it down with rain, would it be okay? 2 river crossings later, a massive downpour that basically knackered one of our cameras and one of the equipment that we were using when we were filming. This bike kept going. It didn't miss a beat. It didn't struggle. It had no problems whatsoever. I personally feel you could leave this in the rain for 6 months, a year, and it would probably start, because it's a Honda. Hondas just start. They just work. They're just good bikes. It does it without any issues. It's a Honda. It's a modern Honda. The electrics on it are fantastic. The build quality on it is fantastic. It's built to last. So yeah, if I left this in a car park for the rain, I wouldn't even think twice about will it start again. I'll more think about, I'm going to have to clean it now when I get home, because I don't want it to be covered in salt. I get asked quite a lot, is it comfortable? Well, in the 900 miles I've driven this bike, the honest truth is, it's as comfortable as any other motorcycle I've ridden. Yes, it is. It's a comfortable bike. What I would say is, don't carry a heavy rucksack on your back, because there's nowhere for it to really go. My bum takes up the entire seat, so it can't rest on the back of the seat or anything like that. But the seat itself is uber comfortable. The suspension, I'll moan about the rear, but it's adequate. If you take it easy, it's perfectly fine. You know, you hit a speed bump, you're going to know it. But you jump on any motorcycle from stock, unless you're going for something like adventure or something like that, you are going to feel the bumps. That's the way that it goes. The thing is, 900 miles, the build quality of this bike, like I said, the chain hasn't been impressive, but the rest of it's been really good. Now, like all things, and I've put this bike through a lot, you are seeing bits of chip on the engine and at the front, and it is a pain up the bum to clean around those fins. But for what I've put this bike through, and we're talking green laning, stones, we're talking putting it, like I said, through a river, I'm giving this bike quite a lot of grief, and it's holding up really well. It's not broken, so the build quality's been really good. Nothing's moved, nothing's budged, nothing's failed. It's cracking. The build quality, again, is what you'd expect from a Japanese-made machine. Really, really well made, really well put together, and very well thought out, and extremely functional. How am I finding the controls and the display? I can see the display in bright sunlight with no problems at all. It's nice and bright at night, no issues there. It's got all the simple things. It's got the fuel gauge, how many miles per hour you're doing. And of course you've got a menu you can flick through, etc. It's quite simple controls. You've got your electric start, you've got your kill switch, you've got your high and low beam, you've got your horn, and you've got your indicators. That's all you need. You don't really need any more. It's got all of that. And that's the basicness of the machine itself. There's no cruise control. There's no heated grips. Do you really need it? Buy yourself a throttle lock. It does the job perfectly fine. And it costs you a tenner. And want heated grips? Put Oxford heated grips on. My personal advice would be get heated gloves, because you can swap them between loads of different bikes, especially the decent battery ones. But hey, that's all down to you. But you can add those. You can add all those little creature comforts. But as standard, they don't come. What you hear a lot is, how does it handle? How do you feel it goes? Let's find out. Definitely got lots of them. Look at that. No issues. Coming up to a bend. Easy round, not a problem. You can just chuck this machine absolutely everywhere. That's the joys of something so light. Just fills you with bags and bags of confidence. I mean, look at this go. Woohoo! Sharp bend coming up. Get out a little bit. It's just a joy to ride. Absolute joy to ride. I suppose the last question as always is, if I went back in time and could speak to myself, would I tell myself to buy this bike? Absolutely. It has given me so much fun and so many laughs and made me do some crazy stuff, and it will continue to do that. There's many more adventures on this motorcycle to come. I have some massive ideas. All there is to say now, may I present one of the most fun, coolest motorcycles money can buy, the Honda Monkey Cycle.
All these lonely nights we could have spent together, but a life that's lived without you feels like it lasts forever. The feeling, it just crawls under my skin. It's like a fatal poison setting in. 'Cause I don't wanna feel ashamed no more. Baby, show me what this love is for tonight. I don't wanna feel ashamed no spent together, but a life that's lived without you feels like it lasts forever. The feeling, it just crawls under my skin. It's like a fatal poison setting in. 'Cause I don't wanna feel ashamed no more. Baby, show me what this love is for tonight.
Well, there you go. There's my thoughts and feelings on the Honda Monkey bike after 6 months of ownership and 900 miles. And I still stand by it. I think it's an absolutely fantastic, cracking bike, and it is literally smile after smile for mile after mile. Anyway, I want to say a massive thank you to my patrons, the guys that support this channel. Your names are in the credits and I really appreciate it. If you're interested in becoming a supporter of the channel, please click on the Patreon link below. If you're interested in some merchandise like t-shirts, mugs, etc., again, please click on the shop link in the description below. All I'm going to turn around and say now is obviously the most important thing in life. Eat pies, ride motorcycles, be happy. See you in the next episode. Bye bye for now.